Welcome back to another episode of Unrated Podcast. Just Grant today. Coming to you all. We're going to be talking about today is doing a little bit of a recap on the Green Bay Packers Detroit Lions game. Obviously, that was a um, great Thursday night football matchup. A lot of points scored. Our Detroit Lions obviously came out on top. Um, Very aggressive on fourth down. We know that's our MO. But I know there was a lot of talk around how aggressive we were, some of the times we were aggressive, where we were at in the field, time of the game, but definitely talk a little bit more on that. Also going to talk on the next matchup actually later on today. Um, Buffalo Bills coming in, see the Detroit Lions. Um, Ecstatic about this matchup. Two great teams. So we'll definitely dive into that and just kind of talk about how the Lions stack up against the Bills as they come into town. But yeah, no, wanted to start off just with the Green Bay Detroit game this past or yeah, about a week ago now at this point, a little over a week ago. Um, Great game. I mean, pretty much what I expected from an offensive standpoint. Able to pretty much get anything we wanted. They were able to um, stifle, I'd say, the run game to an extent. I feel like we still were able to be a little bit productive on the ground, but they did do a pretty good job of holding us in check for the most part. I think Montgomery only had 3.6 yards a carry. Gibbs only had 2.9 yards a carry. As a team, we were only at about 3.3 yards a carry, 111 yards on the ground overall. But that being said, definitely love what I saw from Jared Goff. Did have one pretty crappy interception. But other than that, I mean, he was pretty efficient, especially given the fact that he had to throw the ball 41 times. It's something that we know we don't love for him to have to do. Something we prefer for him to not have to do if it comes down to it. But this is one of those games where, he had to throw it around the yard a little bit, and he was pretty successful in doing so. Shout out JMO, leading receiver on the game. He had 80 yards. Had some big key catches throughout the game. We were able to get Laporta in the mix a little bit more. Know him being banged up. It's been kind of a challenge trying to get him going and getting him ramped up. Throughout the season. Tim Patrick, nice little, wouldn't really call it a coming out party for him. I feel like he's been productive giving us anywhere from 30 to 50 yards a game, making those key catches, um, you know, and helping us extend drives, blocking in the run game. He's just been a solid addition overall. But yeah, no, he was able to go for 6 catches, 43 yards, two key touchdowns. I believe one was on a fourth down. Both of them were, in the red zone, much needed, just kind of given, how our defense has been, leaking oil in a sense. We got 13, 14 guys out on IR with hopefully, got some guys who's gonna be suiting up today that weren't in the mix last week, and got some more guys on IR that are trending to come back on that 53-man roster in about the next 3 to 4 weeks. So, but the defense, man, they did what they had to do. Campbell after the game said he's going to put it on the offense's shoulders essentially to make sure they was the ones that controlled the game and won the game, and they were able to do that. I think the defense, I think they held it together. Held Jordan Love 200 yards passing. Held Josh Jacobs 66 yards on the ground. Um, for the most part, we were able to stifle, the pass game, but they were able to they just had some opportunities where they were, got down in the red zone, I think a couple penalties, better than that. They did have one good deep ball to Christian Watson for about 60 yards that put him in position. Us also going forward on fourth and our own 30 kind of helped with some of the points that they were able to get. So in my opinion, I feel like this game probably would have been more in the lines of like a 34-24 victory. More so as a 34-31 victory. Had we punted the ball on that fourth down, we were in our own 30. So a lot of what they were able to do, I would say honestly was more of what we allowed them to do or what we gave up or what kind of mistakes we might have made on the defensive side of the ball or what we might have did on offense to kind of help continue to keep them in the game. But we were able to keep guys in check like Jaden Reed. That was somebody I was always nervous about. I mean, he's kind of started to be maybe the top receiver, at least showing that he might be the top receiver in that receiving core. They don't really have a number one necessarily. They kind of just have a lot of guys that come in and just make plays. Jordan Love does a good job around spreading the ball around. Christian Watson had a big day. Wicks, he had a couple key catches on a drive to help them get into the red zone and score another touchdown. I think in that like mid to late fourth quarter. Um, so. Hey, Tucker Kraft. I mean, he's, been a guy that's been coming on for him, and he had a solid little game, caught a touchdown, doing a lot of yapping. Didn't have a ton to say before the game started, but yeah, no, overall, before I get too carried away with that, overall, I think you know, we were able to pretty much just kind of hold them in check. I think, from a total yards standpoint, it looked like we really say two uh threw for 299, ran for 99, held them right around 300 yards. And this is a very potent offense. This is an offense that, has put up a lot of points. I mean, anybody who's been following the NFL understands and sees how this NFC North has been looking, and with how great the Lions have been, the Packers and the Vikings have been just that impressive as well. So, massive win, a win we needed to just give ourselves a little bit more breathing room because we're unfortunately not getting a ton of help from some of the other teams that we've played and beat that also have to play the Packers, the Vikings, the Bears. Hell, we couldn't even get help from the Bears that had when they had the Packers and the Vikings dead to rights in their own right at home. And they couldn't even steal one of those games to give us a little bit of breathing room in order to lock up this division. That being said, great victory. I like how aggressive we were on offense, except for the fourth down on our own 30. I do feel like holding on to it and going for it on 4th and 1, with 40 seconds left to kick that game-winning field goal the way that we did. I do think that was the right decision. Um, just knowing and seeing where our defense is at. They've been holding their own, but there's a lot of guys, from practice squads, a lot of guys who just kind of playing 7 plays here, 7 plays there, just kind of by committee trying to do what they can to do what we can do on defense. So you got to give these guys credit too. We had a lot of guys out. I think the entire D line except for McNeil was out. Then McNeil got a concussion. He ended up being out. So it was a monumental effort across the board in all three phases of the game. And I do feel like how I kind of look at that 4th and 1 where we went for it, and then we're able to kick that field goal. It just felt like that was for the 1 seed, that was for the division. The defense, they were doing what they needed to do, but obviously the offense is the stronger side of the ball right now, and I'd like to have the stronger side of the ball out there on the field to make sure we come home with the victory. So yeah, now to move over into today's game, monumental matchup. I mean, this is what you look forward to, as an NFL fan, especially when your team is a part of one of these games, and got a lot of great matchups across the board today. But the one that I would say overall is kind of headlining things is Buffalo Bills coming into Detroit. Um, yeah, so I think some of the keys for this game will kind of start on the offensive side of the ball. I think for us, it's kind of watching that Rams game and how, the Bills are able to kind of get up and down the field on them, get everything they wanted, given how the Rams offense was able to kind of jump on the Bills defense, get a lead, and that's kind of what was able to, you know, cement them to get that victory, even though the Bills were able to keep it a little close late. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think today from an offensive standpoint, I feel like we should be able to get everything we we want. It's going to be a key to not turn the ball over. Goff had a weird interception last week, kind of uncharacteristic, but he's done a great job of just brushing those off and just coming out and continue to make big plays for us. So I imagine, he's well aware of, where our defense is looking, what this game means, and I can definitely see Jared Goff having another big day today. Essentially, how he's just been playing point guard for us this entire season. I do feel like we're going to establish the run. I do feel like I could see, Montgomery and Gibbs both, 15 to 16 carries a pop. Really just trying to weigh on this defense a little bit. They they like took practice off. I heard like Wednesday or Thursday and just kind of did meetings like Zoom. And I think some of the podcasts I watch, they kind of talk about how important that can be because whatever day they took off tends to be a big third down day. And whereas we know, like our Lions, we hear about how, how hard they practice and, putting the pads on everything, what that kind of looks like throughout the week to have like those live reps, and how important it can be, and how valuable it is to have those live reps. It'll be interesting to kind of see how that, plays a factor, if it does play a factor, especially them coming off of a game, on the on the West Coast, playing a lot of plays, offense straining to try to do what they can to keep it a close game. Defense pretty much getting their doors blown off for a good portion of the game. I mean, they gave up 46 points. So, and I feel like just where we're standing at from an offensive standpoint, we have a better offensive line than the Rams do. I think we have better skilled players. Obviously, Puka's a great player. Cup's not what he used to be anymore. But I think we just have a lot more weapons that we are able to bring to the table in order to put a lot of pressure on their defense. I know they looks like they might have some guys in the secondary out right now. I'm not exactly, they're all kind of listed as questionable online here, but we'll be curious to see a couple of these guys being in the secondary. Be curious to see what that looks like. There might be some opportunity there to have a pretty successful game on the offensive side of the ball. Now, when it comes to the defense, as I pull up this depth chart, it's just crazy seeing all these IRs, but on here right now. But at least happy about the fact we got, this called like a Suedo, starting lineup where who we kind of been leaning on, the most these last few weeks. Zadarius Smith, Aleem, Reader, Pascal, they're gonna be looks like heading that defensive line. We got linebackers, Jack Campbell still holding it down, have Ben Neiman in there. I like Neiman. Did a little research on him. I believe he won a Super Bowl with the Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken. Um, he played for the Titans, played under our defensive line coach right now. So I just feel like we've done a good job of finding some guys, just kind of step in and just play some meaningful football for us, and I anticipate him continuing to do so. But this is a tall task. I mean, this is going to be one of them games where we just need, uh, you know, all hands on deck on the defensive side of the ball. Josh Allen in a loss last week. I mean, he did some alien type shit where he was just virtually unstoppable. It was fun watching it, but it was also a little terrifying watching it at the same time, knowing that. Um, I will say the Rams, they're probably a little more healthier than us on defense. I think their front seven's probably probably a tad bit better right now, just given the injuries we have compared to injuries they don't have on the defensive side of the ball. So it was just kind of crazy watching Josh Allen run around, and I think he scored 5 touchdowns, no turnovers. It's something that's kind of uncharacteristic for him. Just calling it what it is. So yeah, I mean, we got a lot of guys that have filled in, made key plays. I hope that today we can keep him at bay at least. It's going to be a tall order to achieve, tall task overall for sure. I feel like, we do have, um, the secondary, just thankful that, we at least have some continuity and solid health back there. And I feel like Branch and Kirby, they're going to be active, just hovering, trying to do everything they can to keep everything in front of them. Josh Allen is good at, throwing a couple turnovers out there. So hopefully Kirby or Branch can get their hands on a ball or two. As I think that'll be a key for our defense and doing whatever they can to stay off the field for long periods of time and continue to get the ball back to our offense, so that our offense can um, do what they've been having to do for a for here and there this season, kind of putting the team on their back. Really had to do a lot more last year than this year. The defense has been holding up and doing pretty well overall. But we do need this defense to do what they can to keep Josh Allen at bay. Some of the weapons, Amari Cooper, obviously, great player. James Cook, great running back. So we got to make sure we make them one dimensional as quick as possible. Josh Allen, I mean, he makes them like 5 dimensional the way that he's able to operate and run around. So the more that we can kind of take some of these other weapons out of the game, you know, um, and just kind of make him put a lot of pressure on him to have to audible while Ford Field is screaming at him, and do a lot of things at the line of scrimmage to check in and out of a play, whatever that looks like. Just need to do whatever we can to um, keep him keep him at bay. So that being said, not a whole lot to not a whole lot to say. I mean, that's just really what's understood. I mean, they're coming in. This is a big game. We need it. We unfortunately aren't getting a lot of help from any other teams in the NFC. We are in a situation now. We're still not even going to be able to win our division until we just beat the hell out of everybody in our division. I think we'll finally have a chance to clinch it if we just beat Chicago next week. 4 games left in the season here, so they're all becoming more and more important. Continuing to love the fact how we're able to continue to keep winning with the amount of injuries we have. I mean, it's been just not even past ridiculous, just insane at this point. The amount of players we've lost to injuries. So hoping that we can continue to stack these victories. This one's a very important one, a big one. It could potentially be a Super Bowl rematch as well. So. Big opportunity. I'm looking forward to sitting down this afternoon and taking in this game. So, as far as the score prediction, I'll go ahead and throw one out there. Looks like we're a 3-point favorite. So I think we're going to look at a score here. I'm going to say 31. I do think we'll just have a little too much on offense. I do think their defense is kind of leaking a little oil like ours is, and I think there's an opportunity there to get get some big plays, get JMO involved, get this run game going, just kind of start hitting them from a whole bunch of different angles. And I think the defense gets a turnover and gets just enough stops to help our offense carry us through this game and take us into victory. So yeah, say 34-31 will be the final score I'm gonna go with. Um, that's all I got for you all today. Appreciate you all tuning in as always. And we'll be back with y'all next week to talk on the results for this game and what things look like heading into Chicago as our second to last game of the division for the season as well. So back at y'all soon. Peace out.